Biswapati Sarkar is to me the first OTT star. If I recall my interest in online entertainment, then the one face that emerges in my mind is Biswapati performing Barely Speaking with Arnub. And we remember all of these TVF episodes of sketches and web series, and all of them were successful, but that one face remains etched in my mind. And it's very interesting to cover his journey. He is an actor, he's a producer, but essentially he's a writer. Everything that he does stems from his writing, and he's just produced Mamla Legal Hai, Kaala Paani he has written and produced, and Jaadugar he wrote and produced. So, and you have acted in one ad which is now popular. So, you wear many hats, Biswapati, and which is the hat you enjoy wearing the most?
Writer, of course. Writing is the hat that I enjoy wearing the most. I think I came to Bombay to primarily become a filmmaker slash screenwriter. So filmmaker abhi in process chal raha hai, but I'm happy doing what we're doing, happy writing and producing and occasionally directing. So, and acting is just like I said, it's a good hobby to have. I learn more about the craft of writing and directing when I'm acting. So it just puts you into an actor's mind ki how an actor is approaching a scene.
Is thinking.
Yeah, so that
You've already answered a very important curiosity, that you see yourself as a filmmaker, and that's in process, because that is the thing, that is the designation that is missing right now, writer, producer, actor, director.
But I don't want to create a false impression. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. It's just that that project hasn't come yet, and I'm in a very good space right now writing.
And you are meeting your outcomes. You have a stories which you are able to which go on to people.
Yes.
So I mean, whether it's as a director or a producer or an actor, I mean, how does it really matter so much?
It does. Honestly, there are some projects you really want to
Make it yourself.
So as of now, that story hasn't come out yet. So when that happens, I'm sure.
So Biswapati, I have this curiosity that in films and television, writers are secondary citizens, so to say, right? In many more ways than one. Even when they become directors, or if they're producers, they don't get those big weekends. How is it in digital entertainment, in OTT? Like, you are a star also. I mean, you are a producer as well. But do you see that? Yeah, somewhat you are only wanted when you are performing.
See, I'll be honest, the thing about writers being secondary citizens, this is not true just in Hindi industry. Across the world, I think even in Hollywood, writers completely, we just had a huge strike, WGA strike, that happened for close to 6-8 months, whatever. So that problem is across the world. I have been lucky, on the other hand. I would say I was always around a bunch of people who valued writing in general and also my writing. So I have been lucky ki first at TVF and now at Posham Pa, I've been very lucky to be surrounded by guys who always have made a place for me. So I've never felt that. I can see other writers feeling that, but I personally have never experienced कि मेरे साथ कुछ बुरा treatment हुआ या मुझे वो कभी नहीं लगा. I was always an equal collaborator. Whenever working with Sameer or Amit or Saurabh, all of those people, like even if I am not working on the project, all the times I think my opinions about the script or the show or the edit were always respected. So I never felt that I am being, so that way I think I've been lucky to be a part of a good circle of people.
When we talk about your days as in Barely Speaking with Arnub, you interviewed all those big stars of the day, and which episode do you recall the most, as being your favorite?
Yeah, I think the first one, of course, with Shah Rukh Khan was the favorite because I was super nervous that day. Then I think kuch hua tha and we got postponed by 10 hours. I think we were supposed to shoot it in the morning and we got postponed to, I think we waited about 12 hours. सुबह के 8 बजे से रात के 8:30 बजे 9 बजे हमारा स्लॉट आया. सो टिल देन आई वाज चलो ठीक है अभी करना है. एंड देन जस्ट शाहरुख खान वॉक्ड इन एंड आई रिमेंबर बीइंग just feeling this there was so much gratitude na, the way he conducts himself, and within moments I just felt that he's a normal co-actor. So of course he's a huge star, but he made me so comfortable within 5 minutes that I forgot that, like, just like we are chatting, it was just me and Shah Rukh Khan just improvising that, and it feels so surreal now कि हाँ मतलब मैंने 1 घंटा बैठ के वो किया था, but it at that point of time it didn't feel awkward at all. So we were like, I was, and you know the format of the show, I have to be mean to the guest, and there are very mean jokes, but he took it in sport and gave it back. So that was a great feeling, and I don't think any guests, although they've been very respectful and nice, but I think that was the best experience.
Yeah, your best memory of the show.
Yeah.
Very curious about how you see news today.
Do we see news today is my thing. So no, I think everybody knows this, yeah, that all the newspapers, be it the big media, is all aligned to one side or the other. So there is no objectivity left in the news. It's mostly opinion. So like TV news channels, like if I go to a hotel, I'll turn on the TV news channel, watch it for like 5 minutes before I watch a movie or something. But it's entertainment now. It's no longer, there's no news.
They're competing with web series.
Yeah, so it's just that there will be 5 people and all of them will be streaming. And these are the things which we used to make fun of are normalized to a level ki ab, I think I consume most of my news from YouTube, from independent news agencies, or I read, like if there is one important incident I want to read upon, I'll read 7-8 different news reports so that I can get कि हाँ भाई सच क्या है, जो common है वो शायद सच है, because there is nobody's like I don't subscribe to a newspaper anymore. I think a lot of young people don't any longer do that, and I think it is probably the last generation of big news media, and it will move on to like a lot of YouTubers I watch who are great at reporting news independently, and I think they've been my source of information for the last, I would say, 1.5-2 years.
Very interesting perspective on news. How assimilating from different sources may be one of the better ways of using media today, of availing media for yourself today.
So it's the age of information is now basically the age of misinformation. So you have to protect yourself कि क्या गलत news आ रही है.
So what do you think about the writing process in web series and films in India? Do you think you're also a writer in Fighter? I mean, your names are everywhere.
Yeah, I did some work there.
Yeah. your names are in more places than perhaps you can count. But so, do you think that there is something in the writing process that is stopping India from scaling their viewership to a global level? Like we have Squid Games. Forget about the American shows, which anyway are consumed all over the world. What is lacking in the Indian making process that makes it difficult for them to be in the front seat, apart from their own geography?
So I think it's not a Indian problem. It is, at the moment, it is a Hindi industry problem, because the South is producing, like we just had 3 films in Malayalam. We had Premalu, Manjumal Boys, and Brahma Yugam, the Mammootty film that came out in 3 months, and I think they did fabulously internationally also, in India also. So I just feel that there is a spirit of experimenting, there is a spirit of trying new things down south, where of course they'll make this big star mass films, but even there, I think the audience responds to that kind of cinema. Here, the audience also doesn't respond. A lot of times we see कि अरे ये film flop हुई थी, but 10 साल बाद अभी OTT पे लोग देख रहे हैं. So it's also a function of what the audience responds to. And the other thing, I never look at it कि what the industry can do. I look at it कि how can I better myself, and like you said, if I had to make a Squid Game, actually there is nothing stopping any creator right now. Like if you have an idea of that caliber, within a few weeks you'll reach Netflix or Amazon ka doorstep, and then it's up to you to execute. It's just that we've not had a TV show writing history, like barring 3-4 writers who were writing TV, we've not had exceptional pool of talent that came in. Like US mein, I think the golden age of TV started, like say Wire 2000, early 2000 में, और उससे पहले से 30 साल का कल्चर है. हमारा क्या है कि हम सीख रहे हैं, like this whole
nascent, we are like a nascent industry.
so we've never written TV like the way the West did. तो अभी वो concept आया कि 8 episode 10 episode high quality series, वरना when we were growing up the kind of shows, like I'm not talking about the Doordarshan shows, though Star Plus वाला वो
our K-dramas.
yeah, the Saas Bahu shows, or you know, and even they had a good jump when they started off. It's just that when they started making thousands and thousands of the episodes, वो फिर छपाई हो गई. Like if you see the early episodes of Balika Vadhu, they're very well done. They're well shot, well acted. All of that is great. But हाँ, फिर वो then it becomes a serial.
After 100 episodes, it's just being pulled for the to keep the viewers.
Correct. And it's also, I think it's, I don't really blame the makers also, because the audience was always responding to it. So they were just giving what the audience wants. At no point, very later, like I think when the internet happened, people like really came back and said ki nahi ye nahi dekhna. And now I think TV is mostly reality shows. Like most of the things that work are reality shows.
You are one of the earlier creators on online entertainment, and you are with a bunch of people who didn't come from a creative background, so to say, IIT or engineering or MBA, etc., etc. How did your families, like let's say there are too many, now there are artists who come from non-creator backgrounds. How can they deal with their family and friends? How did you all navigate that process? Okay, what does your family think about what you're doing? What do your friends think what you're doing? You're not getting as well paid as your friend in US now. So how did you navigate that?
So that was a period of I think 1.5 years, and I think again I was fairly lucky that YouTube boomed at the exact point of time when I left college. So like I graduated 2012, and I think 13 to 14 was the real growth spurt of YouTube that happened in India. And I think we kind of benefited from that. And I think parents का intention तो सही होता है. They are worried कि यार इसका career खराब हो जाएगा. He studied from IIT and now he's doing this. It's only when their neighbors, when my neighbors came and told my parents कि अरे your son is doing this video, यार we saw his interview in that newspaper, then they realized कि oh अच्छा, it's not that bad. Because there was no reference of a YouTuber क्या होता है या influencer क्या होता है. अभी तो फिर भी parents को थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आएगा. But at that point of time, the whole fact that you can make stuff for the internet is like कि ये क्या है, हमें TV पता है और ये पता है, सिनेमा पता है, फोन पे कोई क्यों बताएगा. So I was just talking to like a very senior TV writer the other day, and he said कि when I heard कि लोग फोन पे देखेंगे, I was offended by the fact कि ये कैसे देख सकता है कोई फोन पे कैसे देख सकता है. And I remember my moment being when I realized कि अच्छा फोन से कास्ट हो जाएगा TV पे. And at that point of time I realized कि ये तो game changer है, ये तो this will change everything. Because now then anything that is playing on YouTube is no longer that small a screen. Of course the TVs are going to get better and bigger, and the audio quality is going to improve. So
I'm very curious also about your Mamla Legal Hai process. Like you're a writer, but in that web series you are just a producer. That's the credit you have taken. Now, when other writers approach you, you're a writer yourself, and how do you approach this complex relation when somebody has to reveal whatever he has written to reveal its USP or whatever, everything, to impress you and to be taken on board. And on the other hand, they also have this insecurity कि भाई जो मैंने इतने साल सोच के या 6 महीने सोच के लिखा है, and if I'm telling it to another writer, he'll be inspired from it. तो अब क्या? So what was your Mamla Legal Hai process?
So I think like I worked with, like I said, Saurabh, Sameer and Amit. All four of us are working for about I think 12-13 years now. So this came from Khanna. So the idea was always there कि उनको करना है. And at no point of time was there, and ever, not just in this project, वो कभी कुछ वो रहता ही नहीं है doubt. Thankfully it's always smooth. Like if any of us writes something, he presents it to not just the four of us, even more the other writers who are working on different projects, and objectively feedback लेते हैं. A lot of times like 5 things out of 10 they'll accept, and 5 things out of 10 they'll go by in their instinct. and I can only push for these things कि I feel यार ये दो तो बहुत बड़ी problems है यार this, and I think most of the times the writers also respond in the same way. So for me it is always a collaborative thing. It's there is no competition ki bhai, and even when the project is something that we are not producing, like even if I have to read and give feedback on something, for me I don't give feedback unless I know that I can better the project. That is the whole purpose of giving feedback.
So in Mamla Legal Hai, it was somebody whom you have worked with for long.
Yeah.
He's writing it, and so you're on.
And you know, whenever he narrated the episodes, whenever whatever little feedback we had, we gave it to him, and it was more sort of a reaction from the first audience for him to also understand.
Suppose you are a writer and you've written your script. I mean, we are fictionalizing it. I don't know how much fictionalization works. And you approach a producer or a director who is himself basically a writer. How would you navigate the process? If you didn't know him, would you still send the script across? What would you do? I mean,
see, it's very.
Is it complex, or is it, or am I reading too much into?
No. It depends completely on the personality of the creator, whoever it's the writer, producer. Yeah. So a lot of times, like you mentioned, Fighter, it was a great experience, and I was hired for about 3-4 weeks because there was like a few sections in the film that they wanted me to rework. And I had not expected it to be so pleasant. Like I was hoping it will be good, but it was so pleasant because they were always open, and they were like, I actually forgot that I was fighting, and I was often fighting, and I was telling them ki these are my points, and they agreed to a lot of things, which is what I realized ki, and it is all because Siddharth Anand is open to ideas, and it was his film, and he never said कि अच्छा ये तो क्यों बोल रहा है. It was always कि ये technical चीज़ है, ये चीज़ मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही कि why will the character do this, and so as long as you do that, there's always that academic respect कि हाँ ये चीज़ ऐसे figure out करनी है, ये चीज़ ऐसे figure out करनी है. So we are solving a problem together. It's never कि.
I'm talking about the copy stealing processes.
Oh, okay. That
in India we are
that happens.
See, in India we are not only in movies, in any industry we are notorious for picking up ideas from wherever we get them.
Yeah.
If we are investors, we pick up ideas from other startups and we try to implement them in our startups. So, how do you see this process?
I am not insecure about that because I always feel that the ideas itself are so unique. Like for example, even in if I talk in plain legal terms, an idea is not copyrightable, right? It's the execution or the voice that you bring to that. So for example, pandemic thriller is no brainer, pandemic thriller koi bhi kar dega. But when I'm saying is कि I'm doing a pandemic thriller in Andaman and I'm calling it Kaala Paani because there is a history to Kaala Paani और वो वाली चीज़ है. I know that even if somebody steals that idea, उसको 300 पेज लिखना पड़ेगा. It's not that easy कि आपने बस वो metaphor चुरा के आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. So it is a voice of a few people that who will have to come together to make the project.
Yeah.
तो वो fairly इतना complex होता है कि I think when the projects used to be simpler, शायद मुझे लगता है कि it's a very, like for example, if I take the idea of बधाई हो, it is a very novice idea, and if something had come तो वो impact होता. But those kind of ideas are very rare, to be honest, कि वो idea ही इतना solid है कि यार किसी को. So a lot of people protect their scripts that way. Like Nolan is notorious to never mail a script. He will go and physically sit in front of you for you to read a hard copy, and then he'll take the script and go back. So
I did not know this story.
Yeah, so बाहर काफी लोग इतना protective होते हैं, but मतलब like even in India, I've been to Vidhu Vinod Chopra sir's office a lot of times, and he does the same thing. He'll call you to his office and make you sit in a different room. So कि पढ़ के बताओ कैसा है, and you have to sit there and read the whole thing, and then you have to give him the feedback. So a lot of people do that. But I think as if you are a member of SWA, you have sent it there, वो सारा है, तो फिर this is like one in a बहुत खराब किस्म है, तो 1 in 1,000 या 2,000 10,000 times ऐसा कुछ होगा.
So it's not really a.
Now it is very rare. Nobody does it because they know कि बहुत बड़ा legal complication है. हाँ.
So Biswapati, now I mean, why no more small sketches?
अरे I love doing them, but वही है कि मतलब moved on a different route altogether कि कभी भी ऐसा कुछ I'm really looking forward कि ऐसा कुछ Saturday Night Live या उस टाइप का कोई शो हो तो I'll be happy to do it, but it doesn't अभी bandwidth नहीं है मतलब honestly.
To create the production to.
And I'm happy to be part of something.
Somebody else is making.
Yeah, somebody else is making. I'd love to be a part of it, but टाइम और बैंडविड्थ बिल्कुल अलाउ नहीं करता.
सो इट्स नॉट अ स्ट्रेटेजिक डिसीजन कि नहीं अभी नहीं करना है.
नहीं,
इट्स बिकॉज ऑफ मेनी अदर थिंग्स.
करेक्ट. इट्स यू ऑलवेज हैव अ सॉफ्ट कॉर्नर फॉर इट क्योंकि वो इतना रिलीफ है ना. एक तो बहुत जल्दी शूट होता है, बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है, फटाक से हो जाता है, तो वो दैट विल ऑलवेज हैव अ स्पेशल प्लेस इन माय हार्ट.
नाउ देयर आर सो मेनी क्रिएटर्स ऑनलाइन अक्रॉस. आई मीन पोस्ट पैंडेमिक देयर इज एन एक्सप्लोजन ऑफ क्रिएटर्स and they are all making small reels or videos, and yet you can see that technically also 95-97% of them, they do not work somewhere. Like okay, this is not because audience has not discovered it yet, but this can't be discovered also.
Yeah.
So are there any small mistakes which you see creators making on online entertainment, when you see all of these online creators? What are the frequent mistakes that they make?
See, the kind of content that is coming up on my feed, I am genuinely inspired by them. Like a lot of these young guys are doing stuff which we used to do 10-12 years ago, but in a very different format. Like theirs is a harder medium. I think YouTube mein fir bhi you have 5-6 minutes, and people used to have that kind of a I would say a time to invest 5-6 मिनट. अभी रील में अगर पहले 10 सेकंड में, पहले 5 सेकंड में कुछ नहीं हुआ, अभी स्वाइप अप. तो आई थिंक इट्स अ मच मोर चैलेंजिंग मीडियम. Some of them are absolutely fantastic, so I think I learn from the influencer and creators. और ऐसा गलती तो I don't think, मतलब हाँ, मतलब one thing I feel कि a lot of times people can get really mean in the comment section. वो मुझे बहुत खराब लगता है, and that is a new kind of content where even I am commenting and that is a piece of content because people will like that comment. And so a lot of times we see physically handicapped people, their reels, और उस पे लोग फिर कुछ बहुत mean बोलते हैं. तो हाँ, like I'm not saying कि उस पे joke नहीं बनाया जा सकता, but people don't realize कि कौन सा joke healthy है, कौन सा crass है.
But now you've made all kinds of production, very lean productions, phone, basic cameras, and the works.
Yeah.
Now we know the common thought is, अरे यार कोई भी चीज़ है फोन पे बन सकती है आजकल.
किस पे बन सकती है?
फोन पे बन सकती है. That is one. But what are the benefits of a good production, like of using the best camera or best location? What are the benefits?
See, I would say it depends on the scale of the story. Like there was no way Kaala Paani could be made in a smaller budget than what we made in. क्योंकि वो scale है, islands हैं, ships हैं, लोग हैं, crowd है, तो वो help होता है. I think, see, you speak to any filmmaker or any producer, any writer, they will never be happy with what the money they are getting. क्योंकि उनके विजन के हिसाब से they are always compromising.
अरे बहुत कम दिया यार.
हाँ, हमें हर जगह की if I could have, like even James Cameron says कि यार I just needed $5 million more. But that's also because their vision is so big कि उनको हर बार everybody has to trim down, and I think that is also required क्योंकि otherwise there is, if nobody says no, then that's where you have those disasters. So I don't think कि वो कभी भी satisfy होता है. The change that I feel from working in smaller productions to a bigger production is that you get to collaborate with fantastic artists. Like you learn from the DOP, like the way he's putting up the lights and his small suggestions, like if you want a mid shot, but he'll say what if we just shift the angle a few degrees, and you realize ki, oh, that really changes the whole thing. Or a good music person or a good editor. So you realize कि there are people who are actually better at their job than you, जो कि छोटे productions में नहीं होता. You are kind of leading the whole thing. You are kind of the writer, the director, the actor, and your limit is the maximum limit of the project. But here you will have a DOP who definitely knows way more than you, and you will pick up 5 things from him which you can apply on your next project.
Own life, yeah.
So I think that is, and not just I think even the on-screen talent you get to work, like even in smaller scenes you get to work with better actors. So there is a lot of learning that is happening. So I think the moment if there is 5% increase भी होगा in terms of talent में, तो overall project का quality बहुत
yeah.
uplift
So you
हो
get the
जाता है.
best because you have a broad, you have a big canvas. You can accommodate many other visionary people, people who know a lot more. I think one last question perhaps we can ask is monetizing as a writer, as a producer, as an entrepreneur. Like when you write, you get a fee and that's it. You go home, right? And when you direct, you can perhaps command like with the way you work with other directors, when you've been part of production and all. Do you also how do you make it lucrative for, like, what's been the most lucrative aspect of of your jobs? Like as a producer, do you make more money? Do you make more money as a director?
Of course. Like if you are a producer, of course you'll earn better. But that's not the reason why you do. Yeah. The reason why you become a producer is to protect the product, to protect your vision, to protect the creative product that you have, and also because you feel that इतने साल बिताए हैं with a certain caliber of people, so together we can come and do this. And actually when we started doing it, we realized कि हम ऐसा कुछ ही कर रहे थे पहले भी, but वो टैग नहीं था. तो kind of अब वो टैग है, because तब छोटे स्केल में कर रहे थे. See, scaling up is very gradual. That happens. You don't even realize कि वो चीज़ हो रही है. It's just that when you realize कि I should command this, I should ask for this now. And of course, you see the examples are there. You meet bigger filmmakers, you learn from them कि हाँ ये क्यों नहीं बोल रहे, हम लोग को भी ये बोलना है. So of course you learn from them also.
एक ज़माना था like older makers say that कि भाई देखो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जो भी लिखा हो डायरेक्टर के, राइटर के, कि तुमको प्रॉफिट शेयरिंग मिलेगी, या को प्रोड्यूसर के कि तुम्हें क्रेडिट मिलेगा और ये इतना इतना परसेंटेज फीस मिलेगी, एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉफिट मिलेगा, लेकिन कुछ मिलेगा नहीं लास्ट में. तुम्हें खाली जो फिक्स्ड फीस मिलनी है वही मिलनी है. बट व्हाट इज द सीन नाउ, लाइक व्हेन यू आर मेकिंग ऑल ऑफ दिस वेब सीरीज?
अभी भी ऐसा ही है. अभी भी ऐसा ही है, ये कुछ नहीं है. इट्स जस्ट दैट आई फील लाइक इफ people kind of the industry knows, so that's the thing. Like we feel कि maybe PR में वो नज़र नहीं आता है कुछ लोगों का कि ये एक्टर कम दिख रहा है, बट विद इन द सर्कल सबको पता है कि ये अच्छा एक्टर है, इसको एक प्रोजेक्ट मिलेगा ये फोड़ देगा, या ये अच्छा डायरेक्टर है, ही जस्ट नीड्स द राइट प्रोजेक्ट. पीपल माइट नॉट अप्रोच हिम डायरेक्टली बिकॉज वो बैंडविड्थ नहीं है, बट वो हमेशा एवरीबडी इज लुकिंग आउट फॉर न्यू राइटर्स, टैलेंटेड राइटर्स, न्यू डायरेक्टर्स, एवरीबडी इज इन लुक आउट फॉर देम. And there are always people who worked with somebody on one project and they come back and say यार वो बहुत सही है उसके साथ, you guys need to work. So that kind of news always spreads. So I think a lot of time, like a lot of filmmakers and writers spend a lot of time thinking about the system, how that is unfair to them.
Like money making. I'm just talking like now that you've done the creation, you know how to make a great product, a great film or a great web series. So as a maker, how do you, when was the time you made money? Okay, I was a co-producer in this, that made me more money than what I did in my 5 works as a writer or as
like again, like I said, I have been lucky in that way because TVF started doing well like 2-3 years after. So once TVF got funded, वो financial कभी problem था ही नहीं. The other thing I think of course like you rightly said, वो producer बनने के बाद हाँ वो बढ़ जाता है, वो चीज़ है. So with Posham Pa doing well, of course वो चीज़ like that might be the point जहाँ पे वो थोड़ा और बढ़ गया और take off हो गया. But again I would say कि वो वैसा नहीं है कि crazy money कमा रहा हूँ और वैसा कुछ भी नहीं है, but at the same time touchwood I've never had to.
It's been a growth.
हाँ, it's been a growth and I've never had to worry कि यार should I spend 1 year on this project, क्योंकि should I do something for money, वो चीज़ नहीं रही कभी भी. So that ways I've been lucky, and also partly because the acting gigs come out, कि ads हो गए, कुछ वो हो गया, so all of that takes care of.
As a bonus money, it's always there. Okay.
So that is there, and वो I think like for when everything stopped during the pandemic, even then I got a few ads और मुझे लगा अरे वाह तो साल का शॉर्ट हो गया just by working few days. मुझे लगा सही. So I've been lucky at that point of time कि हाँ financially कभी वो परेशानी नहीं हुई.
What are your dreams now, like going forward, when you like last 1 year, sometimes what's the dream that you wake up with कि अरे यार ये करना है यार?
Dream that I wake up with,
या ऐसी कोई ड्रीम जो छूट चुकी थी, अब करना है यार, एक दिन तो ये करना है.
ये बहुत अच्छा सवाल पूछा आपने, और मतलब आई थिंक वो ड्रीम थोड़ा सा मेरा अब वो हो चुका है कि वो इंटरनल है, वो अभी वैसा, क्योंकि आई थिंक पहले व्हेन यू आर यंग ना, शायद आपको यू आर लुकिंग आउट फॉर वैलिडेशन कि अरे कुछ अवार्ड मिल जाए या रिकॉग्निशन मिल जाए, वो पहचान ले। अभी कुछ मिला नहीं है ऐसे, ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ बहुत चेंज हुआ है, वो रिकॉग्निशन मिला है ऑफ कोर्स विद इन द सर्कल्स, वो सारी चीज़ें हैं। बट आई रियलाइज कि मेरे अंदर बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स है एज अ राइटर कि आई कैन बी मोर डिसिप्लिन्ड, आई कैन राइट अ लिटिल बिट मोर। तो वो सारा ड्रीम है कि अब हाउ डू आई फिक्स दोज इंटरनल प्रॉब्लम्स विद इन माई सेल्फ, एंड आई नो कि इफ आई डू दोज देन ऑटोमेटिकली द राइटिंग बिकम्स बेटर, द प्रोजेक्ट बिकम्स बेटर, आई कैन डू बिगर प्रोजेक्ट्स। तो वैसा आई डोंट सी मतलब ऑनेस्टली मुझे वैसा कुछ वो कभी भी था नहीं, बट वैसा कुछ नहीं है कि अरे मैं कुछ बहुत पैसे कमा लूँ या कोई बहुत बड़ी चीज़ बना लूँ। ये है कि यार आई कंसिस्टेंटली वॉन्ट टू मेक स्टफ and be a part of bigger and better projects. So it's like मेरा पर्सनल एम्बिशन नहीं है, so I want to be a part of say an Avatar और a Marvel franchisee टाइप का कुछ before I die, वैसे वाला कुछ है कि something big and something classic, but I know कि वो gradually होगा, वो शायद वो अपने आप जब होगा हाँ। And you can also not plan for that. You can plan for Iron Man, you can't plan for Avengers. जब Iron Man plan कर रहे हो आपको थोड़ा सा ही दिख रहा होगा कि यार एक Avengers फिल्म शायद बन जाए. You cannot visualize कि यार Avengers Infinity War बन रही
है. This will become.
Yeah. तो I think हाँ वही है. You just calculate कि अभी ये चल रहा है, let's do this.
But ये तो calculation की बात हो गई कि now तो as a due
dream is like I said कि हाँ मतलब dream is just to become a better, like where more disciplined as a writer, where I can feel कि हाँ मतलब I feel I'm tapping into my potential, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि I can do more and I don't do enough, ये मुझे हमेशा लगता है. And again I worry a lot about not doing enough, तो शायद that can also be a reason, but हाँ.
So Biswapati, anything else that you would like to add? Anything that you can tell the viewers?
Not really. So I don't know what is there something that you want me to talk about?
No, I mean we wanted to talk about your dreams. So that's there.
Arre, thank you.
But let's say anything that you would say to an artist who is writing and who is just whatever, who is lazy at writing. And how do you overcome your writer's block? Okay, let's wrap up with that idea.
So writer's block, yeah, whatever, whoever, if somebody is interested in writing, I think, like I said, the one thing that you can do is shut up, put your head down and write. Good or bad, you need to finish first. Because a lot of times, like writer's block, whenever I've experienced it, it comes from a place of insecurity, that what I'm doing isn't good enough. So first you finish and then assess whether it is good enough or not. There will be most